Hello class, we are in lecture 22. We will have midterm review today. Can you believe that's in module 8, the last lecture? Yeah, so in this week, we finished the causality. So through the randomized control experiment, so we can do the hypothesis and to identify the causality or not. And also we introduced the p-value last week. And you can see in the simulation and at the end, before we make the conclusion, through the hypothesis test, p-value is important. So today, through the module 1 to 8, I know we learned so much, and the midterm exam will be the Monday next week. You are maybe a little overwhelmed. So that's why today, the lecture, we just want to I just want to go over each topic we've been introduced so far and give you a quick summary, and also remind you some important concepts will be in the midterm. So let's start now. There are a few important concepts we introduced for this class, and we use Python on the Jupyter notebook. So for the Python code, not only we can write a function applied to our tables, and also we introduce how to create and manipulate array. So for the Python programming, tables and array is very important. So here, I won't go over detail how to solve the problem, but here will be some example for you to discuss with your classmate or your peer. So definitely tables coding part is very important for this class. So you can see in the midterm exam, this exam is from the midterm exam back to 2017 for Data 8 in Berkeley. So in the midterm exam, we will give you some example about the tables. And we will show you they have different columns. And then we will ask you how to get specific value we want. So some question I will have the fill in blank like this one. So for example, you see we have the department, we have the name, we have the row, and we have the salary. How should we find the salary amount paid to all the faculty? Okay, so that's why sometimes we give you the question, we will give you maybe just one fill in blank. So you need to fill out the whole statement, the code. Or we'll give you partial of that. So for this example, you can see the pay is the table name. So how should we get the total salary? Right, so you can see here will be a function we will call, right? So we can use the sum for that. So then since we need to get the salary, okay, so that's why you need to code the column. So specify your column name. So then we can get the total payment. So here we will have few more examples for you. So please make sure go over with that and check your answer with your peer group. So that's the example for, you will see that's a very typical example. Very possibly will be in our midterm exam. Okay, so just quickly, maybe we see this one. So you see this one, they say we want to find the name of the third highest paid faculty. So that's why you want to know. You see here, actually this table is more than 2,000 rows. So in order to get the highest pay, the third highest pay, so what should we do? Right, we need to according to the salary, right? So the salary value should be in a specific order. So how should we do that? Very good, you need to sort. Okay, so then one thing is, remember after you sort the value, but then we want to get the third highest pay. So that's why for the item here, we can specify which one. And since we want to return the name of that faculty, so how should we fill up here? Great, so according to the column, right? So according to the column, then it's the name of the column. So then we got the item. So since array we start from 0, so the third highest pay should be the item 2. Okay, yeah, so then here, right, so you can see the most important thing for the Python programming part, you need to know very well how to manipulate the table, and also for some array question as well. I know sometimes we have different function from Python. If you are not very familiar with those functions, remember when we have our lab exercise, for example, our lab exercise 2 or 3, they show you, when we give you the example, we also give you like the summary, how to use those functions. So that's very good reference as well. So for our midterm exam will be open book, open note. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't read the textbook before, because you only have 2 hours to finish your 100-point midterm exam. So please make sure you have all your reference, your note ready. So here I will give you very highly recommend is to find our Python reference document, and also using your lab exercise as reference, we summarize some table function you should use. So you need to make that handy before you start your midterm exam. Okay, so this part for the table and the array. So basically that will be the Python programming we want you to be familiar with. And continuing in module 4 or 5, we also talk about how to do the simulation. So in order to do the simulation, we need to have the random data to be generated. So that's why here actually we give you the summary, how to generate random sample. Okay, so remember the first example we give you is, for example, you want to simulate what the result to flip a coin 100 times. So then that's why you need to have your possibility for your outcome in the array. So since, for example, we toss the coin, so that will be head and tail. So they both are 50%. So for that chance, you put in the array. So then you can decide how many sample size you want. So then they will give you a result in an array. Okay, so that's the first example we show you how to generate the random sample. So then afterward, okay, so then we will have the random sample will have the result actually from the table. So then you have the row of the table to create the sample, random sample according to the existing table. Okay, so how to do that? You can using the table.sample. Okay, so the same thing, you can specify your sample size. By default, they will do with replacement. What mean with replacement? Yeah, with replacement, that means they will, after we pick out one row, this row will still putting back to be choose from the next one. So that's what we call with replacement. So on the other hand, that means a random sample we create from the table, from the existing table. If with replacement, some rows, they possibly will be picked more than one time. Okay, so that's, but by default, the sample function, they are with replacement. So then, if you don't want to with replacement, you can specify with replacement equal to false. And also here, you can specify your sample size. And then remember, we also show you the simulation is we just have each simulation just another random sample. So if you don't specify the sample size, they just make the same size as your original table. Okay, so then you just need to say you with replacement or without replacement. So they will, if with replacement is equal to false, so basically they just shuffle the table by random permutation about those old rows. Okay, so that's about the random sample. So I will just stop here. So please make sure you will go over to think about how to do each one. For this video, actually, the most important thing I want to talk about is about the histogram. So actually, the histogram is very important because in your assignment 3 and 4, I just find out actually a lot of you make the mistake how to interpret the histogram. So that's why here I want to show you one example. So we want to do this one together. Okay. So remember histogram. It looks like the bar chart, but it's not really the same. Okay, so the histogram you can see here, histogram is we created according to a specific categorical attribute. Yeah, of course, they can be numerical one. If the numerical attribute, then we will have the bin to specify the interval for the data. Okay, or we also can do the histogram on the categorical data. So if we have generated histogram according to the numerical attribute, so then we can create our bin, or by default they have the bin. So the bin just specify the interval for each bar. Okay, so we can see in this example they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bins. They are in different width. Okay, so the first one is 5, then 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 25, then 25 to 85. Okay, so the most important thing, the difference between histogram and the bar chart is what? The histogram is based on the frequency, but we make them become percentage. So on the other hand, each bar, they represent in that interval how many percent of per unit in the x-axis. Okay, so that's very important. So in order to know that percentage in that interval, we need to find the area for this bar. Okay, so the area is what? Is the width times height. Also, that's very important. So when we want to know the value for each interval, please make sure you will find the area instead of the length only. So that's why we see the first question. Which bin has more people? So for the 10 to 15 or 15 to 25. So here is 10 to 15. Okay. So then here is 15 to 25. Like we say, which one have more data, more people? We are not only looking for the height, we're looking for the average. We're looking for the area. Okay, so here your height is 5. So times the width is 5. So this one is 25. Okay, but here is what? Here your height is 4. Then your width is 10. So here is 40. Also, we know your 15 to 25, you have more people. Okay. Okay, the next one. What is percent if the income for 15 to 25? So this one we already did, that's 40%. Okay, so I want to do C. Okay, so the C is if we want to draw one bar over 10 to 15. Okay, so what they say tall, how tall it is, so that means how the height it is. Okay, so this one I want you to think about that before you see the answer. Okay, so pause the video. Think about that. So then we will show together. Okay, so I believe you try to work on it by yourself first, right? Okay, let's do together. We see how to do that. Right, so we want to find how tall it will be if we make the bar from 10 to 25. Okay, so that's why here is those area we need to distribute into the some height here. Okay, so then we change the height. Okay, so that's why here you will make a new height, but cover both of this area. So earlier we already got, here is 25, here is 60. So that's why together we need to make the new area have 65. Okay, so that's why now your width change become 25 minus 10. Okay, so that will become 15. So that's why the height will be 65 divided by 15. Yeah, so that will be 65 divided by 15. So then we just cancel with the 5. So then, yeah, 13 divided by 3, that will be, the new height will be 4.33. Okay, good. How about the last one? What is percent make 75 million and more? Okay, so that's what you need to do. Yeah, so one thing is you need to find out what is the area for here. So then we need to find over 75, right? Okay, so then I will